I recently found out that you can see a personal dietitian covered by insurance. There's this platform called Nourish that will match you with a dietitian based on whatever your concerns are, whether that's weight loss, eating disorders, autoimmune conditions, or something else. They're actually a network with major insurance providers, so most patients pay $0 out of pocket. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Calaroga Shark Media.
The intensity of the first days can overwhelm even the most prepared pope. Within hours, they must begin making crucial decisions. The length of the conclave affects the timing of the installation mass. Key appointments in the Vatican administration need confirmation or change. The new pope must quickly master ceremonies and protocols that their predecessors spent years perfecting. Modern popes face additional challenges their predecessors never imagined. Social media accounts need updating. The Vatican website requires immediate changes. Press offices worldwide scramble to distribute biographical information and photographs. The new pope's first words and gestures will be analysed endlessly for hints about the direction of their papacy. The formal installation mass, held within days of the election, marks the official beginning of the new papacy. The most symbolic moment comes with the imposition of the pallium, a wool stole symbolising the Pope's role as shepherd, and the presentation of the fisherman's ring. This ring, uniquely designed for each pope, becomes one of the most visible symbols of papal authority. Unlike the temporary ring used for the first obedience, this one bears the Pope's chosen name and will be used to seal official documents. When this Pope dies or resigns, it too will be destroyed with the silver hammer. This is White Smoke, Episode 2, In the Beginning. Each papal transition writes a new chapter in the Church's history while drawing on 2 millennia of tradition. The process has survived schisms, wars, and scandals. It has adapted to changes in technology and society while maintaining its essential character. The death of a pope and election of his successor demonstrates how the Catholic Church views itself as an institution both timeless and timely, rooted in ancient traditions while engaging with modern realities. From the Camerlengo's silver hammer to the electronic jamming devices, from Latin proclamations to instant messages, the process bridges centuries of human experience. In the end, when the new pope stands on the balcony of St. Peter's, he embodies this paradox. Dressed in ancient vestments, he faces cameras that will beam his image worldwide. Speaking ancient blessings, his words will be instantly translated and shared globally. He stands at the intersection of tradition and innovation, just as the Church itself does. And so the cycle continues, as it has since Peter the fisherman became the first bishop of Rome. The Church mourns, prays, chooses, and begins again, always adapting, always maintaining its essential character through the most elaborate and consequential transition of power humanity has devised. When Cardinal Albino Luciani emerged as Pope John Paul I in August 1978, the world was unprepared for what would become one of the most enigmatic papacies in modern history. His first act sent shockwaves through the Vatican bureaucracy. He refused to be carried on the traditional papal throne, the sedia gestatoria. He spoke in the first person, using I instead of the royal we. His inaugural speech was delivered in simple Italian that any schoolchild could understand. The press dubbed him the Smiling Pope. but behind that warm demeanour lay a potential reformer. In his brief reign, he hinted at sweeping changes. He spoke of investigating the Vatican Bank. He considered allowing birth control. He planned to reassign conservative cardinals. Then, just 33 days into his papacy, he was found dead in his bed. The circumstances of his death spawned countless conspiracy theories. The Vatican's changing story about who found his body, the quick embalming without autopsy, the missing papers from his desk, all fed into a narrative of intrigue that persists to this day. His papacy, though brief, demonstrated how even small changes to papal traditions could signal seismic shifts in the Church's direction. When the cardinals elected Angelo Roncalli, 76 years of age, as Pope John XXIII in 1958, many expected a caretaker pope, someone to maintain the status quo for a few years. Instead, within his first 100 days, John XXIII announced something that hadn't happened in nearly a century: a new ecumenical council. The announcement of the Second Vatican Council came like a thunderbolt. He made it during a small ceremony at the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls, almost casually mentioning his plans to bring the Church up to date. The cardinals present were stunned. One later recalled, "We thought we had elected a transitional pope. Instead, we elected a revolutionary." John XXIII's early days set a new tone. He visited prisoners at Regina Coeli jail, telling them, "You could not come to me, so I came to you." He welcomed non-Catholic religious leaders, including the first ever visit by an Archbishop of Canterbury. He removed anti-Semitic language from Good Friday prayers. Each act signalled radical change, all within months of his election. The announcement of Cardinal Karol Wojtyła as Pope John Paul II broke centuries of tradition. A non-Italian pope, from behind the Iron Curtain no less. His first words from the balcony of St. Peter's revealed his approach: "I have come from a far country." Then he broke protocol by giving an impromptu speech in Italian, winning over the crowd with his charm and humour. His installation mass provided more surprises. His mother's prayer book was placed on the altar, a personal touch unprecedented in papal ceremonies. He delivered his homily in multiple languages, demonstrating the polyglot abilities that would mark his papacy. His famous line, "Be not afraid," became the watchword of his entire pontificate. Within days, he was breaking more traditions. He held a press conference, unheard of for a pope. He continued to ski and hike, refusing to be confined by traditional papal behaviours. His first trip back to Poland in 1979 drew crowds of millions and helped spark the movements that would eventually bring down communism in Eastern Europe.
I recently found out that you can see a personal dietitian covered by insurance. There's this platform called Nourish that will match you with a dietitian based on whatever your concerns are, whether that's weight loss, eating disorders, autoimmune conditions, or something else. They're actually a network with major insurance providers, so most patients pay $0 out of pocket. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger became Pope Benedict XVI in 2005, he faced the daunting task of following John Paul II's 26-year reign. His first decisions showed both continuity and subtle change. He kept John Paul II's secretary, but moved quickly to address issues his predecessor had left pending. His installation included a symbolic change. The papal pallium was redesigned to its ancient form, signalling Benedict's interest in traditional Christianity. His first encyclical surprised many. Instead of the expected doctrinal document, he wrote about love. Deus Caritas Est, God is Love, revealed a gentler side to the man once known as God's Rottweiler. Yet his early days also showed the challenges he would face. His Regensburg lecture, delivered just over a year into his papacy, sparked international controversy with his comments about Islam. His attempts to reconcile with traditionalist Catholics led to diplomatic incidents. These early struggles presaged the difficulties that would eventually lead to his historic resignation. The election of Jorge Bergoglio as Pope Francis in 2013 brought immediate dramatic changes. His first acts as Pope set the tone. He paid his own hotel bill, rode the bus with cardinals rather than the papal limousine, and chose to live in the Vatican guest house rather than the Apostolic Palace. His installation mass broke with centuries of tradition. He received the papal pallium standing, not kneeling. He used a wooden pastoral staff instead of the traditional golden one. His homily emphasized his role as Bishop of Rome rather than Supreme Pontiff, signaling a more collegial approach to church governance. Perhaps most dramatically, during his first Holy Thursday as Pope, he went to a juvenile detention center and washed the feet of young inmates, including women and Muslims. This departure from tradition, where popes had previously washed only the feet of male priests, signaled a papacy that would prioritize pastoral care over protocol. One of history's most dramatic papal beginnings wasn't technically legitimate at all. In 1378, a group of cardinals, claiming the election of Urban VI had been made under duress, elected Cardinal Robert of Geneva as Clement VII. This began the Western Schism, with 2, and eventually 3, rival popes. Clement VII's first acts established a competing papal court in Avignon, France. He appointed his own cardinals, issued his own bulls, and claimed legitimate authority. The Christian world split along political lines. France and its allies recognized Clement, while England and others remained loyal to Rome. This bizarre situation, with multiple men claiming to be the true pope, lasted for decades. Each pope excommunicated the supporters of the others. Each claimed legitimate authority. Each appointed their own cardinals, who would then elect their own successors. The schism wasn't resolved until the Council of Constance, 1414 through 1418, deposed all rival claimants and elected Martin V as the sole legitimate pope. These dramatic papal beginnings show how the first days of a papacy can set the tone for years or even decades to come. Some changes seem small, refusing a throne, choosing a residence, picking a name, but carry enormous symbolic weight in an institution where tradition and symbolism matter deeply. They also reveal how the paradox of the papacy, being both an ancient institution and a living, adapting one, plays out in real time. Each new pope must balance tradition and innovation, continuity and change, the weight of history and the needs of the present.
I've been working with a nurse dietitian for the last 6 months, and it's been life-changing. I've lost weight, healed my relationship with food, and have way more energy. Working with a dietitian online to create a personalized nutrition plan was so easy thanks to Nourish. The best part? I pay $0 out of pocket because Nourish accepts hundreds of insurance plans. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.